Welcome back. It's exactly 19 after 9 o'clock. Our next guest is Thembisa Ebrahim Fakude, Senior Research Fellow at Africa Asia Dialogues and Chief Executive Officer at Mail and Guardian. It's going to be a short interview as he is quite pressed for time, but we are talking about something pretty important. We understand that Israel's military says it has launched a series of air raids on Houthi targets in Yemen, further heightening fears of a wider regional conflict in the wake of intensified Israeli attacks on Gaza and Lebanon. Assalamu alaikum to you, Thembisa Ebrahim Fakude. Welcome to the program. Nice talking with you again.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So the situation in Yemen, on the one hand, we have that total Holocaust in Palestine, Israel having targeted Lebanon, and now they are going into Yemen. What on earth is going on? Are we seeing a regional flare up as far as the Middle East is concerned?
I think so, and this is not going to be solved anytime soon. Even when the dust settles, I think it's going to be very difficult for the region to go back to normal, and it's going to be very difficult for Israel to go back to normal. So they can push the envelope and continue doing what they're doing, but I'm not sure whether economically they can sustain this, and in terms of stamina. And if you really think about it right now, the Israelis are going to be perpetually terrorized, notwithstanding that they're trying to achieve the opposite, because they can't fly out. Most of the airspace is shut, and you also have a situation where those that live close to the border of Lebanon and in Gaza are not going to be going anytime soon. So it's a very tense situation at the moment.
Okay, so we understand that according to reports, this attack came a day after the Houthis said that they fired a ballistic missile at Ben Gurion International Airport near Tel Aviv in Israel. The Houthis have been firing missiles into Israel for a while now, from the time the genocide has been happening in Palestine. Is this Israel's way of retaliating and sending a very strong message to the Houthis in Yemen?
Well, that's what they're trying to do, but of course they can't succeed because the traffic on Red Sea is basically shut. There's no ships going past the Red Sea, particularly those heading towards the Europe from east, and particularly those also heading towards Israel. So business is shut. So they can, and by the way, Yemen is very far, so Israel will continue doing what it's doing, but I think the effect of the Houthis in business on the Red Sea is going to not only hit Israel, but it's going to hit everybody else, and that hopefully is going to put pressure on Israel to move towards a ceasefire.
Crossing over to the Lebanon situation right now, we understand that the Lebanon Prime Minister said that up to 1 million people may be displaced by these current Israeli attacks. Do you think anything similar might play out in Yemen? People being displaced and, trying to seek refuge elsewhere in Yemen? Okay, we've lost Ebrahim there, but we do know he was meant to have ended the interview at 25 past 9 in any event. So that's where we leave it. We're going to go for another round of ad breaks till we are joined up with our next guest and interview right here on the show on News and Views. We were talking, obviously, to Thembisa Ebrahim Fakude, Senior Research Fellow at Africa Asia Dialogues and the Chief Executive Officer at Mail and Guardian, looking at the Israeli army launching air raids on Yemen's Ras Isa and Hodeidah districts. We also understand that these air raids caused power outages in most parts of Hodeidah, according to the residents. And this attack came a day after the Houthis said that they fired a ballistic missile at Ben Gurion International Airport near Tel Aviv in Israel. Now, the Iran-aligned group has repeatedly launched drones and missiles at Israel and on Israeli-linked ships in the Red Sea, as Ebrahim Fakude had just outlined. the Gulf of Aden and the Bab al Mandeb Strait since November of last year in what it describes as a campaign of solidarity with Palestinians under Israeli attacks in Gaza. The Houthi Supreme Political Council said on Sunday that the Israeli strikes will not stop its support for the Palestinian people. Alhamdulillah. The Israeli aggression will only increase the Yemeni people's determination to continue their stance. And now we're also hearing that Iran's foreign ministry has condemned Sunday's attack that sent large plumes of smoke into the sky. And the spokesperson, Nasser Kanani, called the air raids inhumane and accused the United States of fully supporting Israel's crimes. Separately, Hamas denounced the attack in the strongest terms and expressed full solidarity with the Yemen people and the Houthi movement, calling the Israeli assault a dangerous escalation. Hussein al-Bukhaiti, a journalist and political analyst based in Yemen's capital, Sana'a, has told an Al Jazeera journalist that firefighters were trying to extinguish fires that broke out after the air raids. And of course, we do know that Israel previously hit the Hodeidah port in July after a Houthi drone strike penetrated Israel's air defenses and killed a civilian in Tel Aviv. So, of course, this is a story we are going to be watching very closely, including the situation as it unfolds in Lebanon. That does not mean that we're going to take our eye off Palestine. That too will be receiving our full attention. It is exactly 9:26 news and views moving along right here on Salam Media. Once again, we'll go for a break, and when we get back, obviously the show continues.